A reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 16. Sarai and Hagar. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children. She had a female Egyptian servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abram, Behold now, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Go in to my servant, it may be that I shall obtain children by her. And Abram listened to the voice of Sarai. So after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar the Egyptian, her servant, and gave her to Abram, her husband, as wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, she looked with contempt on her mistress. And Sarai said to Abram, May the wrong done to me be on you. I gave my servant to your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, she looked on me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me. But Abram said to Sarai, Behold, your servant is in your power. Do to her as you please. Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. The angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going? She said, I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, Return to your mistress and submit to her. The angel of the Lord also said to her, I will surely multiply your offspring, so that they cannot be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Behold, you are pregnant, and shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has listened to your affliction. He shall be a wild donkey of a man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he shall dwell over against all his kinsmen. So she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, You are a God of seeing. For she said, Truly here I have seen him who looks after me. Therefore the well was called Bir Lahai Roi. It lies between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now in this chapter I see that God had already told Abram that he was going to have descendants more numerous than all the stars in the sky, that he couldn't even number them all. That's how many descendants he would have. That was in the previous chapter. And here we are about 10 years later. Sarai basically doubts and questions what God had told Abram. And so she starts thinking, logically in her own human way, that, well, the Lord has prevented me from bearing you children, so I think what you need to do is go into our servant, Hagar. So she basically gave her maidservant to Abram and gave him permission to have sex with her and make her fertile, get her pregnant. And so he did. And sure enough, she got pregnant. But now that Hagar got pregnant, I guess she got a bit cocky, or started seeing her Abram's wife Sarai as less than her, maybe even disrespecting her and dissing her and making her feel bad, like she's some kind of second-class human because she's sterile and not able to have children. So that didn't sit well with Sarai, and she just told Abram, you better do something about her, because this got out of hand, and she's belittling me, making me feel awful now that she's pregnant with your son, and this is not what I had in mind. But Abram told her, well, she's your maidservant, you do with her what you want. And she immediately started treating her really harshly, so much so that Hagar just felt like she had no choice but just basically leave, pregnant, without any direction, really, without anyone to provide for her or her child. And so that's why the angel of the Lord appeared to her at this spring, um, on the way to Shur. And the angel of the Lord appeared to her and spoke to her. And I thought that was really nice, because in life that happens so much. I've been on both sides. I've been on the one who's been harsh to people, and I've also been the one that I felt like that I've been shunned or belittled, and felt like, what am I doing here? Let me get out of here. Let me go find somewhere else to do where I feel like I'm respected more, and I'm valued more. So I kind of feel both sides of the coin. I've never been that distraught where an angel had to appear to me and speak to me, right? But it's interesting to see what came of this young boy that was born from Hagar, Ishmael. Now, a lot of people say, and I've heard, that he's basically the bloodline of the beginning bloodline of all the Arabs who are Muslim and also believe in Abraham. I'm not so sure I believe that, but I'm not saying I don't believe it. I'm just not fully convinced about that just yet. I mean, it does say that he shall be a wild donkey of a man, and his hand against everyone hand against him. But I mean, I think that's kind of true for almost all races and nationalities. There's strife there on a racist level. But what did I wanted to get to? Yeah, so I guess maybe I just see that we lose our patience, just like Sarai was losing her patience with God's promises. 10 years had gone by, and where is this promise where she would be bearing Abraham thousands of millions of descendants? I mean, obviously not literally, right? But through the descendants. But she hasn't even given him one, and 10 years had already gone by. So it's easy to start thinking humanly and thinking, well, what do I have to do to make God's promises real? And start coming up with one's own solutions, which really end up being wrong. But it's just because God works way too mysteriously, and He requires of a lot of patience, years and years of patience sometimes. And sometimes He answers prayers right away. But yeah, I could see how someone can just be like, I think I need to take matters into my own hands and help God with what He's promised me that He will do for me. In this case, have descendants, have children. But it obviously brought enmity between Sarai and her mistress Hagar, and they couldn't live with each other anymore. And Abram didn't disrespect Hagar, and he named her son Ishmael, as the angel of the Lord had commanded, because the Lord had listened to her affliction. And that just tells me too that, I mean, we all pass through affliction. We all have times that we feel afflicted. I mean, I'm passing through affliction myself right now, personally in my own life, and it's good to know that God listens. I'm not really crying over it or speaking about it, but it's there, and I know God sees it. And maybe I should be more in prayer about it, but God is not deaf, and God is not blind. He sees and he hears everything, and He'll act when the time is right. And that's just the bottom line faith that one has to have. And so that's probably what I leave myself with this chapter, is knowing God doesn't need any help to fulfill His promises. He's going to do them His way. We just have to have patience. And if we start doubting, it's better not to jump the gun and try to do things our way. Amen, brothers. Take care. Have a nice day.